always inspired by my father. I used to see him play the drums here and there, so I requested him, please, can we go? When I was just 7, but then I had to come back because my legs couldn't reach the bottom while sitting. Okay, so before my drumming, I had a background of dancing, hip hop. I was always into music in some form or the other. I used to dance. I used to do hip hop, break dance, and then I used to see my dad play the guitar, the drum. My mom plays the synthesizer. So I used to be really recently, like for a few days back, we got selected into the national finals of Battle of the Bands. So approximately 15 bands from the country, we are one of them. I think drums is the most appealing instrument when you're looking at someone live. I think when you're looking, drums is the first thing you hear and the last thing you hear. If it was my choice, I would like to practice 3 to 4 hours a day, but my neighbors already hate the lockdown. I could only practice my techniques. I didn't have the set as well. I just had to practice my techniques. It's louder and it's more present than rock. It's faster, basically you can say, faster and louder than rock. Rock is more of a technical genre. It's more of a technical and enjoyable genre. Everyone will like rock, but not everyone would like metal. So I learnt my notations, but I never do sight reading or notation. I always play on my own with my own ear. I never depend on the book to read or to play, or I never depend on the paper. Only if necessary, I write down. There are so many bands now that have come up in the last 10 years who are dominating the charts worldwide that are from India.
Joining me today is a talented 15-year-old drummer by the name of Vivaan Menon. Vivaan comes from Pune and began his drumming journey in the year 2020, just before the pandemic led to a nationwide lockdown, forcing him to adapt to online lessons. With a background in hip-hop dancing, he hails from a family that is passionate about music, where his father plays the drums and the guitar and his mum is a pianist. Currently, Vivaan is an active member of his school band and has recently made waves by qualifying as a finalist in the national level Battle of the Bands competition. Let's hear from 15-year-old Vivaan. Hi Vivaan, Shruti here. Welcome to Inner Habit. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm all okay. How about you?
I'm good. So I have heard so much about you. I've seen your videos. So I am intrigued about sharing a lot of information about you and what you do. So my understanding is you play drums and you decided to start playing at a very young age, but the problem you had was you couldn't touch
So it's the pedal on the bottom. I was always inspired by my father. I used to see him play the drums here and there, so I requested him, please, can we go? When I was just 7, but then I had to come back because my legs couldn't reach the bottom while sitting.
You were probably disheartened.
Yeah, I was. I used to be really disappointed on the drums.
Okay. And from there, you waited until you could touch the pedals, and once you began, you never stopped playing drums.
Never, no.
Okay. So when did you actually start playing?
So I started the second half of 2019. I got about 4 months of face-on-face class before lockdown hit because of COVID, which is why I was completely restricted to just a pillow or a practice pad for 3 years. And now after lockdown, I've gotten to play on the drum set and everything. So it's been more time playing on the practice pad than on an actual drum set for me right now due to the lockdown, but it's going great.
What are your biggest influences when it comes to drumming and music in general?
Okay, so before my drumming, I had a background of dancing, hip hop. I was always into music in some form or the other. I used to dance, I used to do hip hop, break dance, and then I used to see my dad play the guitar, the drum. My mom plays the synthesizer. So I used to be really like, I want to do this too, which is what got me into wanting to learn drums.
Am I correct in saying that your whole family has a passion for music?
Yes, very much.
Okay, you said you loved dancing and The dancing that you did was hip hop.
Hip hop and breakdance, yes.
Okay. So how did that transition into into playing drums?
Okay, so as much as I regret it, I stopped dancing when lockdown hit. I don't know what my classes stopped, so I didn't have the productivity to do it myself. But then I got into music. I had just started drums, so I thought I'd just focus on that. And now here I am. I'm not dancing, but I'm still doing the drums.
You can always go back to the dancing, I suppose.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking. Yeah, I want to get back to it. I really do.
And what was the first song that you learned how to play? You learned how to play your drums on.
The drums. I think there's a song called Hornet by Fox Academy. I think that was one of the first songs I learned. And then in rock, one of the first songs I learned was Let It Be by Beatles.
Yeah, I like that. Beatles sounds good. My type of stuff. So, do you do performances?
Yes. So I'm part of my school band. Okay, and we keep doing performances for the school events, our annual days, and right now, recently, like for a few days back, we got selected into the national finals of Battle of the Bands. So approximately 15 bands from the country, we are one of them, which is going to be held on December. So looking forward to that too.
How many people in the band?
So it's 6 of us.
And all 6 of you do something different?
Yes. So 2 guitarists, 1 bass guitarist, 1 lead singer, and a keyboardist, and me.
And the drummer.
Yes. So we got together and we were like, let's start jamming. And then we all got selected into the school band. It's going great.
And you all know one another through school, I assume?
So yeah. So we all met 2 years ago. We met talking about our instruments, that we played this and we played that. And then we all showed up for the auditions 2 years back. We all got selected. And then it's not only bonding through the band, they're really good friends of mine too. So it's a very good experience. I like it a lot because they're not only band members, they're my friends as well. So it's a lot of fun.
What do you love most about being a drummer?
I think drums is the most appealing instrument when you're looking at someone live. I think when you're looking, drums is the first thing you hear and the last thing you hear. So I don't know. I like to be the center of attention for the small period of time, the starting and the end. And drums puts everything else together. So I like to do that. I like to keep everyone else together. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to be a drummer.
How many hours do you need to practice for, or how long do you need to practice for?
If it was my choice, I would like to practice 3 to 4 hours a day, but my neighbors already hate me, so I get to practice only 1 hour a day. They've given me a slot, so 1 hour a day, I never miss it. But I would love to practice much more. I always ask my dad, please let me play for half an hour more, but we can't help it, right? So, but in school I practice, so I get my practice done, whatever I can.
Is it very difficult to practice noise instruments, I suppose is the best way to call them, because drumming is somewhat a noise instrument?
Yes, it is really noisy. Yeah, so drums does affect me. My head starts aching after a while. My ears start aching. But, I mean, I think it's worth it. It's worth the practice that you do. If you have your noise cancelling, you keep practicing, then it's all worth it.
Sure, but if your neighbors are already upset with you, then that means you've got to find other places to practice, right?
Yes.
And when you said you practice in school, do they have a setup there that enables you to practice?
Yes, they do. They have a full-fledged setup. School, I don't get to do my solo practices. I do it with the band. But whatever I can get done, I do it. And then whatever I have to do on my own, like my exams or everything, I practice at home on my kit for 1 hour.
Do you have any sort of specific techniques?
Not of my own. I've completely taken on techniques from my instructor, Prasanjit Paul. He's a jazz drummer. His techniques is what I use and has helped me a long way in my drumming. So for the period of the lockdown, I could only practice my techniques. I didn't have the set as well. I just had to practice my techniques. That's how it kept getting better, and he kept guiding me through it, which has now helped me in the normal drum set.
And how do you approach learning a new song that you want to drum on?
So a new song, I hear it about 4 to 5 times on my own. I try to memorize whatever I can, Then when I sit on the drum set, I apply whatever I can, and then I keep hearing it and keep playing a part which I don't know. And within 2 days, I'm done with a new song, if I need to.
Wow.
I listen to music a lot, so it happens.
Do you think it's easy or hard? Like when you first started, I assume you probably thought, oh my God, how am I going to learn all this? Is there certain, in tabla, they have those five sort of notes that you have to remember. Are there anything like that?
So it's not like tabla, but drums has its own notations, completely different notations. But we do, yes, sheet music is there in drumming, and I have learned it.
Tell me more about this. What type of things do you have in drumming that are key to remember?
There's nothing in specific. The notations that you learn are just for an initial drummer. Once you know the notations, it's not tough anymore. It's just a thing to start with. So I learnt my notations, but I never do sight reading or notation. I always play on my own with my own ear. I never depend on the book to read or to play, or I never depend on the paper. Only if necessary, I write down my notes of what I have created. That's what I find about notes.
Now, you mentioned that you play in your own band, which is great. Have you ever experienced a professional band?
Yes, so I have watched many bands live. A lot of them are really inspiring. I can say my instructor's band, I keep going to watch him live. They perform at these big events, and I hope to see myself there someday. It's really inspiring. So I really like that. I would really like that one day.
What genre of music do you like playing your drums against?
Okay, so metal and heavy metal is what I am taken to now. I was a rock drummer initially, but my band is metal too. So we do all heavy metal songs. So
That's pretty common, isn't it?
I mean, for a drummer, not really. For a guitarist, you will find many metal guitarists, but drummers, they're usually all rock drummers who tend to know to play metal, but they like rock more. I prefer metal over rock.
What are the differences?
So metal is a much heavier genre. It's more, it's louder and it's more present than rock. It's faster, basically you can say faster and louder than rock. Rock is more of a technical genre. It's more of a technical and enjoyable genre. Everyone will like rock, but not everyone would like metal. It's sort of acquired.
If I asked you for a memorable moment in your performance, what would that be other than being selected for the finals?
The first time I went on stage was 2 years back in the same competition where we got out in the finals itself, but it was the first time I played drums on stage. Then the next year, which was last year, in the same competition, we got to the regional finals, but then we didn't get selected. And then this year, the same competition, we've got into the nationals, which is the last round of the. So it's a long way from the first time to the drum set and the last time on the drum set. It's the same competition, but a completely different player, you can say.
So it shows your growth as a group and the transition, because from where you were together when you started, and I think you said you've been practicing for about 2-3 years, to where you are today, you're getting better with each performance.
Yes, hopefully. We're trying our best. We've been doing it for 2 years right now. So, and all of them are equally as hardworking as me. They practice maybe more than me. They're all equally as passionate about music, which I love. Which is why we relate to each other.
Do you think the music scene in India has changed, particularly in schools?
Very much, very much, very much. I can say from the last 2 years itself, every school's band has been progressing equally as much or maybe more than us as well. Like 2 years back, the bands that were there, and 2 years back, the band that are there now, it's the same band, but they're so much better. Maybe, I don't know if it's everyone who wants to win the competition, or it's just India's growth of music. You can see a difference in the bands.
I won't even say 2 years. I think in the last 10 years, there's been so much progress in India where sports and arts have come up so much.
Much more, yes.
Otherwise, it was always being stuck in your books constantly.
Yes. I completely agree. There are so many bands now that have come up in the last 10 years who are dominating the charts worldwide that are from India. Could be metal, it could be regional bands like Thaikuram Bridge, or metals like bands like Bloody Wood, who are dominating US and UK charts right now, which I find really inspiring. I follow them a lot. I follow their success, and hopefully we can get there someday.
Did you say they're Indian bands?
Yes, Indian bands.
Wow. At some stage I never saw that happening. Like, I never thought that India could come up so much and accept the arts, because whenever you hear people talking, that's in the arts field, it's not very intelligent, and that was what was said years and years ago.
Yes.
But now it's different.
Completely.
Is there particular drum kits that you need to use for particular things? Like, do you have a particular drum kit you use?
No, so I can play on any drum kit. It's basically the same, all the drum kits. But once you get more into the instrument, once you start playing professionally, drummers do have their own kit which they carry around to gigs. But again, those are the big expensive drum sets which are needed to be used for those kind of acoustics on stage. Now, the ones that our schools have or the one that I have, they're all basic drum kits, which are more or less the same. So I can play on any of them. That's not.
So, Vivaan, do you have a favorite drumstick that you use or accessory?
Yes. So I go for this company called Promark or Minel. These are my go-to brands. I really like them. They're the best, I think, that you can get. The weight of the sticks, the way the stick bounces back with the fulcrum that you use with your fingers, weight of the tip, it all matters a lot. The wood that I'm using, they're all different woods, but the ones Promark and Minel use, which is hickory, is the best. Is what I like, and I prefer using heavier sticks over light, so I can use more technique over using my whole hand.
That's very interesting. But for somebody who's never played drums, it's so new to me. But I'm really intrigued by your passion.
Thank you so much.
Now, tell me something. How important is gear to the sound that you actually produce?
According to me, I don't think gear really matters. It's about how you play it. If you play it well, it will sound well. It will sound good. But if you don't play it well, it will not. Like, the best drummers can use the worst kind of gear and still sound equally good and maybe better. So personally, I don't think gear matters at all.
Okay, that's very interesting. And the way I say it, so I know drumming is not a sport, but the way I see it is, I used to play table tennis. I sort of can still play table tennis. But when you think about it, every bat is different.
Yes.
Right? And there's some that are really good for spin, and there's some that are very good for shots. Yeah, that are attack. You've got it. So spin and attack. And you play to your strength. So you buy the bat to your strength.
Yes.
Now you're saying to me that in drumming, the gear isn't important, but the person playing the drum is.
Yes.
Which is quite the opposite.
Yes.
Why?
If the drummer has the amount of gear he needs, it doesn't have to be the best quality just because he is the best drummer. He can use any kind of quality and still get the best sounds out of it. It's the drummer in the end. That's what I think.
Now, Vivaan, how do you manage or balance your school life, your studying, your exams, and also incorporate your passion for drumming within it?
It is tough, yes, for sure, and it's exhausting. But every day is the same for me. It's a schedule because of everything. Every day is tight. I have my tuitions and then I have my drum time. I've set up all of my tuitions and classes so that I don't miss my practice time. But everything has to be there in one day. I do my school and then I do my studies and my tuition and my drum practice. And then I listen to music. So it is hectic, but in the end, I am managing more or less. And during exams, I do have to take breaks, maybe make my 1 hour practice half an hour or maybe 20 minutes, but I don't stop practicing. I I can't go a day without practicing.
When it comes to drumming, I suppose in that sense you've also got to think about your education for the future,
Yes.
because drumming is an arts field, and the pay may not necessarily initially be like you want it.
Yes, very much.
Do you think about these things as a young drummer?
Yes, I do. Which is why I have taken, personally, I'm a commerce student. I've taken commerce background, commerce and economics, which is what I want to get into. Why, like, so that I can do my drums on the side. I didn't want to take something hectic like science and maths. So I can do drumming on the side. I've taken commerce. I'm doing my Trinity exams for my drums on the side, which there are 8 grades. I've done 2 and 4, passed with distinction. I'm doing 6 this year and mostly 8 next year. I'm skipping the odd numbers. So doing that side by side, I'm doing my schoolwork as well. So this exam, if I pass each exam with my distinction marks, which is above 85 on 100, I get a scholarship into the college Trinity after my graduation, which is what I'm trying to do in London. I'm trying to get into Trinity right now by doing this on the side and doing commerce as, maybe you can say, as a backup. I want to learn music like in a college. I want to learn it professionally.
Okay, so let me get this straight. What your plan is you want to go to UK, London, on a scholarship, study music full time, and take commerce and economics as a second major.
Yes.
Wow. So you're going to go to London. So I was in London.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I was there. It's a beautiful place. I think there's a lot of potential for you, because I'll tell you why. I interviewed a singer called Nikhil Paul George. Right? The guy I mentioned, he did songs in Burfleet. And he actually studied music in Europe, in London somewhere. I think it was Cardiff, if I'm not mistaken. In any case, he studied over there and he came back to India to actually perform music, but ended up singing songs in Burfi and became really popular overnight.
That's hopefully what I can do, getting into London. Because getting into London, going to Trinity, opens a lot of doors for me, not only in India but abroad as well, because Trinity is a prestigious college for music, which is why I'm trying to get into Trinity. What I originally thought of was getting into Trinity and freelancing in London itself. But I realized I want to get into the industry a bit more, or make a band and start posting music. Is what I've been wanting to do after thinking a lot.
I get that. I get it. Like, you want to form a band and do all that. Do you want to create your own band and then create music in India itself? Like you say, you're thinking about what you want to do, and that's fair enough. Like, you're only 15 years old. You've got a number of years. But do you think you'll come back to India and form your own band and make music?
Maybe. It depends on the situation that time, right? So if I do find a band in London, and if I've settled in London, then it's not necessary to come back to India just to form a band and try and get into the industry. But on the other hand, if the competition is much higher in London and freelancing is much lesser, then coming back to India is much more practical for music.
So you've really given this a very good thought for a 15-year-old. Tell me, what age do you have to be to get into Trinity?
There are 2 courses. There is one before graduation and after graduation. I want to get a degree in my commerce and then go to Trinity after the graduation, which is what I want to do. So at least I have a commerce degree if things go south, God forbid.
And you'll do that degree in India before you go to Trinity?
Yes.
Yeah, makes sense actually. Now, what advice would you give youngsters who want to go into the music field or who are interested in playing drums?
I think practice. That is the key element to getting better, and to not get ahead of yourself, I would say. Because once you're a drummer and if you're in a band, you already know that you're giving your tempo to the band is relying on you for the timing. Many people take this to their mind and think the band is completely dependent on me. That should not happen, because I've seen this happen to many young drummers, which should not happen. It's a complete downfall for him or the band. So you should not get ahead of themselves, be humble, and should practice regularly, and should like what they're doing. They shouldn't be doing it forcefully. That's what makes the practice fun.
So tell me, how has drumming then shaped your personality or even outlook to life?
Well, I would say drumming hasn't really changed anything for me, but it has changed the way I've looked at everyone else. It's made me more ambitious, maybe I can say, more ambitious and more hardworking, which is also added to my personal life as well. Could be for studies, it could be for even the smallest thing. But I will want to get it done. I would want to try my best to get it done. Maybe I think that's what drumming has done to me as a person. According to me.
Now, do you write your own music or your own compositions, or?
So I can drum. I can write my own drum parts, my own drum solos, and I do that occasionally when I'm bored. I just take a piece of paper and I write my notations on it. But I prefer not to. I prefer to just go with the flow and play on the spot, than to do it from before and show and do it on stage. That's what I'd rather do.
Now, who would be your dream artist or band that you would want to play with, or even perform with?
So this is a really tough question. There are really a lot of bands that I would want to play with. I think one of the key bands should be Slipknot or something like Metallica, for sure. All these metal bands.
Now, you mentioned to me that you love to listen to music and you've got schedules and timings.
Yeah.
Discipline is a very key thing
Yes.
in whatever profession you do.
Yes.
So, what I'm doing right now, the biggest discipline for me is making sure I do the podcast when I say I'm going to do it. Okay? The discipline factor for you is you've got to practice. You've got to do it. Otherwise, you can't win a competition. You can't progress.
Yes.
You mentioned that you have a schedule. Now, in that, you mentioned that you listen to music. What type of music do you tend to listen to? Is it drumming or?
Not necessarily. So because of my dance, I think I'm into rap music a lot. I love rap music, whether it's new or old rap. Then I love my rock music, my metal, my black metal, my deathcore. I love every kind of music. You can go from deathcore to reggae, or from rap to soft rock. I listen to everything. I don't know. I just enjoy music as a whole.
Tell me about how it's sort of changed things in the family. Like, I know your dad plays drums. I know your mom plays the piano and a number of instruments too. So, do you play with your family sometimes?
Yes, we do. I do that a lot with my family. It's usually like on Saturday evenings. I tell my mom, take out the keyboard. I'll tell my dad to connect the guitar, and then they'll come to my room and we'll do a small jamming session of all nostalgic rock songs. And recently, I taught my mom to play drums a little bit, and she was playing Pink Floyd the other day. So we keep having fun like that at home.
Yeah. Do you take your parents for such concerts? Or do they take for you for such concerts?
No, so I take them. I ask them to come to all my shows. I've never actually been to a concert of a proper band yet, which I'm hoping happens soon, because it's an experience, right, for a musician to go for a concert, to see how everything is done. Not only the performance, but what goes to how they set up and how they pack up. Everything matters when you're going to a performance and a musician is looking. So for me, it will be an experience, which is why I keep telling my dad to take me. But for my concerts, I take my parents. I like to show them what we're doing, and they like to come too.
Okay, so in every situation, there are times when things go perfect. And then there are times when things don't go perfect, even in a performance. How do you deal with that?
I think you just have to keep calm. That's all. If you take it to your mind, if you keep it in your mind that kuch to galat ho raha hai, something is happening, then it's bound to happen. If you're like, okay, I expected this to happen, it's fine. Just keep going, and whatever happens, happens. There's no issue at all. Even if you're on stage, suppose it's happened to me a lot of times. When I'm playing these metal songs, my stick breaks on stage. I have to play the rest of the song with one hand and then pick up the second stick in the break, which happens a lot because now we can't help it, right? So I just I keep my mind cool. I do whatever I can do in the worst of situations, and then it's all okay. In the end, it's not the end of the world, is what I feel.
Okay, does a stick breaking impact the output of the drums and the music?
Yes. So if the stick breaks, it's not usable at all anymore. You have to throw it out. And if it's happening mid-song, if it breaks, I have to throw the stick out and play with the full song with one hand, however difficult it may be. And then try to pick up the stick during the performance or in the break. So if a stick breaks, it's one of the worst things that can happen. A stick or a drum to tear. But you just have to be cool and it'll all be okay. Like the other day, we were performing in front of a coordinator, and the snare drum, it tore from the bottom and the snare fell. It fell on my foot. I continued playing on the other drums. I tried to fill in as much as possible while my instructor came, put another drum on it and kept it straight. It maybe took 45 to 1 minute, 45 seconds to 1 minute. For that much time, I just did whatever I could without that drum. Even though it was the main part of the song on that drum. I did whatever I could. And I laughed when it happened because there's nothing you can do about it. Right? I didn't want to stop playing because the band was enjoying it too. I was enjoying, so I didn't want to stop playing. So I just continued. I would have continued even if the instructor didn't come and do the drum. I would have still continued, but luckily he did, so I got back on track.
Now, tell me, what is the funniest thing that has ever happened to you, either on stage, off stage, or anything?
Okay. I was playing, I think it was a metal breakdown, and I fell off the stool. But I somehow didn't lose a beat. Stool was fallen. I was standing and playing. Till someone again had to come and keep it so that I could sit properly. Because I couldn't stand and play the drum. It's tough. So I think that was funny because I was laughing the full time. And it was not a performance, it was a practice on stage. But then I fell and then someone had to do that for me. So that's happened.
Do you get somewhat of an adrenaline rush like before you go to stage? You know how people get?
Yes, very much. I'm known for that in my band. We get adrenaline rushes before our performances. I just randomly start doing push-ups, or I start jumping around and doing everything because I get excited, and then I tend to play the song much faster, which is not a good thing, but I tend to play the song much faster because I'm so excited in adrenaline. It happens, and I'm very much known for it in my school and my band, very much, because people say I go crazy before performances.
Yep, that's a phase that a few people go through.
Yes.
Do you get nervous?
I mean, I think you get nervous initially, but I don't know. I don't get very nervous. Only during competitions, I do get nervous when I see the other bands. But when I'm getting up on stage, there's nothing to be nervous about because I know our performance is good. So I just go and give it my best. I don't have to be nervous for that. I do get nervous when I see other good bands, but not while I'm getting up on stage.
How do you then differentiate between a good band versus a not so good band? I mean, everyone who's reached a certain level is good.
Yes, very much. So I think skill does play a factor, but again, everyone is learning. So for what they are doing, it is really good. I think to differentiate between the good band and the bad band is the band's attitude as a whole. If they're overconfident about their set, then it's not a good thing. But if they're like, if they come and wish us luck while we wish them luck, then it's a good thing. Then it's a good band. So the band, it creates a completely different identity as a whole. That it should be a good identity. It should be a good atmosphere when you talk to the band. You should be like, good. These are good. They're good people. They should be humble about their performances, and they should be humble about everything. They shouldn't be spoil sports. Basically, if they lose, they shouldn't be like ye tha wo tha. So I think that's how I differentiate a good and bad band.
Now tell me, you you say that, but this is a competition. Do you find some people, or do you find some of the bands being a bit rough and trying to? We see a lot of this in cricket where they try to bring the player who's batting down. Do you see that happening when you are in a competition?
Not necessarily, because these are school competitions. So even if they're from Bombay or from Bangalore, somehow or the other we have communicated with them, whether it's on Instagram or in a previous this. So everyone is friends there. It's just maybe in international competitions this may be happening. I'm not too sure, because this is the first time we've got to a national level, but nothing yet. So such an experience I've never been through. That another band is being bad to us, so it lowers our morale. No, I've never seen that.
What is your pre-performance routine as a band? When you look at sports, for example, and I rely on sports quite a bit because I used to watch different soccer teams play in UK. And one of the things they used to do is huddle up. Even in cricket, they do that. Huddle up, encourage one another. Do you have a pre-performance ritual?
We basically just shake our hands and hug each other before we get onto stage. Just saying all the best to each other. That's actually it. We just do that backstage, and we're like, we'll give it our best. Jo hona hai, hone de. That kind of attitude. We go and we give it our best and we come back. That's what we do. We don't have anything in particular. We do practice till the day before, or maybe the hour before. But then before we go on stage, it doesn't matter that much. We know we have practiced, whether it goes bad or not. We know we've put in the effort. So if it goes bad, we can't help it, because we know we've put in the effort. It's not like it's always happening. So we're like, whatever has to happen, let it happen. We'll go and give it our best. That's what we do before going on to stage. That's our attitude.
Now, things are upcoming. Music industry is growing in India, where arts is becoming a more recognized field in India, in schools and everywhere. If you wanted a perfect scenario for music to be, I suppose what I'm looking at is, I'm thinking about what sort of support people need, because it's just an upcoming, I'd say, passion or in industry, particularly in schools where it's now become a subject or they've invested in it. What more changes are required to see this industry change from that school level?
So I don't think there are any changes required. Just that the children need more motivation, support from their parents. I think that goes a long way. If you have your support from your parents, you have the confidence and you have the feeling of wanting to do more. I think India will be bigger than the USA in no time.
Do you feel that some parents do not support their children?
So, from what I know and from what my band is, our parents fully support us. But India, like you said, has always been a more academic country. So maybe initially, there would have been problems in parents supporting the children, which now is much lesser. But I feel like it still happens in many cases. If that is not there anymore, then I think the progress will be on a completely different level.
Vivaan, I actually think that it is an education thing. I think that more parents need education And because of the lack of awareness, they are misinformed about the potential in music itself. So for you, your mother, your father, they play instruments. They've encouraged you. And through that encouragement process, they've given you the ability to find out where you can go and study music abroad and what you need to be successful to get into those colleges, how to attain those scholarships. I think we need more coaches and more advocates in India who teach individuals this information so that, or even parents, this information so that they can give their child the life that the child wants or desires. I think personally, if you and your parents could look at a coaching thing, it would be fantastic. Because if your parents have so much knowledge, they can actually coach other parents in understanding it. And I'm saying this because my dad was like that, and my dad is like that. So what my dad does, and at some stage, because as we were growing up, he too was looking at, well, what can my daughter study? What can my son study? Which university is good? What is the importance of studying? Fair enough, it's studying. Now, I'm a graphic designer, I'm in the arts, right? And it was always something I knew I wanted to do from the age of 9-10 years old. So, because like you had a passion for playing drums, your parents invest that time to look for it. And that is a key thing and what makes the difference.
Yes, completely.
If somebody wanted to make a documentary of your journey in drumming, what title would you want for it?
I'm not really sure actually. It's something to think about.
Oh, what's your band name? You could choose your band name.
Oh, our band name is MIA, Missing in Action. That could be our title.
There you go. MIA, Missing in Action.
Yes.
Vivaan, I really want to thank you for your time today. I truly appreciate you coming here and sharing your expertise, your experience. I loved watching the videos. I watched all of them that your mom sent. And I thank you for your time. I know you have to go practice now and you're very particular about your time. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.